Good morning. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Hudson. My name is Marilyn Orr, President of the club, and we are thrilled to have you join us today. This meeting broadcast is available on HCTV, as well as our Rotary of Hudson YouTube channel and Facebook. Our club meets weekly using this digital platform, Zoom. When we meet in person, it's at Laurel Lake Retirement Community for breakfast. We hope to get back to that soon. We meet most Wednesday mornings from 7:15 to 8:30 a.m. So come out to join us for a meeting. We would love to have you as a guest. To learn more about Rotary, our club, and the impact we are having on our local community and the world, please visit our website, rotaryhudson.org. So enjoy this meeting today and help us share the message that Rotary opens doors of opportunity.
We're ready to go.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Hudson. Another beautiful day in our neighborhood. My name is Ron Strobel. I'm the Sergeant at Arms. Our invocation this morning is by Phil Tobin.
And goodness, Phil, we need you to unmute, please.
There we go.
All
Good
right.
morning, Phil Tobin here. You know, this weekend we're facing Memorial Weekend, and our Rotary group is really made up of three groups of people. Those that are too young to know anything about World War II, those that had brothers and sisters in it, which is a smaller group. And then there's a very small group of those that were actually in World War II. But this is a prayer for Memorial Day, and it reflects not only all the wars we've been involved in. So let us pray. Father, today we pause to reflect on the sacrifice made by those who paid the ultimate price on behalf of our nation. We pray that our sacrifices are never forgotten, nor the pain of their families. We acknowledge that freedom comes at a cost and pray that we can pursue peace. We hope that someday we'll celebrate Memorial Day as just a memory of the time before we started living in the peaceful existence you intended for us since the beginning of creation. Let us turn to you, Lord, in our grief and in our remembrance of the fallen. Guide us towards a harmonious existence as we honor those who were willing to give up their lives so that we may gather here today freely. On this Memorial Day, we pray for peace and for those who gave all. Lead us towards a world where no one must give their lives in pursuit of freedom. May we be receptive to your guidance, and may we never forget the fallen. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Phil. Very nice. And to lead us in the pledge and the four-way test, Elizabeth Kowalik.
Good morning, Rotarians. James, you're pulling up the stuff, right?
Sorry, I'm on a different computer and for some reason it is not pulling up. So let's go ahead and start with the pledge and I'll try and get it pulled up as we speak.
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I mean, you don't need to pull it out. I mean, I can say it.
Okay.
We'll just go ahead. The four-way test of the things that we think, say, and do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you, Elizabeth, and well done. Everyone should be able to recite that from memory. We shouldn't need to read it. So thanks again. And now our president, Marilyn Orr.
I'd like to echo that. It was a job very well done. Good morning, Rotarians and guests. And again, a special welcome to Patricia Getz. I'd just like to inform the club that the 2-week comment period is ending, and Patricia will be inducted as the newest member of our Rotary Club very, very soon. This on June 5th, Saturday, Rich Warfield is going to lead our group as we provide a cleanup day at Camp Manitowoc around the swimming pool. That has traditionally been our job as we help to start the camping season. We'll be there with other community volunteers, and it's going to be a great amount of fun. As you might remember, many years we've had our meeting, actually, the first meeting in June at Camp Manitowoc to get this done. So all hands on deck. It really is a great day to get out and enjoy the companionship and the laughter with your fellow Rotarians. There are tasks big and small, and the best part, they're going to feed us lunch. So contact Richard and let him know that you're planning to come so that he can figure out just who's going to do what. Now, we are so fortunate this morning. We have both Marty Bach and Jamie Cosman in the house. So I'm going to turn it over to them. And unfortunately, this is going to be the last meeting that we will have with them until the fall when the new school season starts. So Jamie and Marty, take it away.
Good morning, Rotarians. Can you hear me all right?
Oh,
All right.
we don't have the best record.
Can you hear me okay now?
No, it's not working real well.
I borrowed a microphone, progressive microphone from my wife.
Ah,
Okay. All right. Let me turn it over to Danny.
yeah, it seems like we have a bit of an echo there. Yeah,
Good morning, Rotarians.
there we go.
So hopefully everybody's doing pretty well, and welcome. Thank you so much for having us. I'm not sure what Marty's tech difficulties are, but if you were to ask me who's more likely to have the tech difficulty, it would be definitely me. So I want to cover, so we actually had our Camp Manitowoc trip last week. It was Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and we were able to do all sorts of things at Camp Manitowoc. We had crews going around and landscaping, moving all sorts of stuff, cleaning cabins, and just doing all sorts of work at Camp Manitowoc, who we've had a great relationship with throughout this school year, and we are so appreciative of them taking our students and allowing them to volunteer there. We were also able to do a lot of work at Camp Ledgewood, which is our typical site in the fall. It's our typical overnight. And we were able to do trail clearing and laying out wood chips and splitting logs, amongst other things. And we're super appreciative to Dave Berlin and the staff over at Camp Ledgewood and all the work they allowed us to do. We also worked with the Richfield Nature Preserve and the Akron Farm Co-op, which are new sites for us, and just absolutely great. They allowed us to send a bunch of students there, and we were able to get so much done while we were there. In addition, we were working at the high school with the Hudson Arborist, doing all sorts of work around the high school, which was absolutely awesome. And I know I'm forgetting someone or somewhere, and Marty, if I am, if you could send that to me, and I'll make sure to call a shout out to them as well. But just an awesome week. We were able to spend 4 hours each day volunteering and helping out the community. Kids were able to have open camp from 2 to 6, which was really fun. We had kids in canoes and swimming and hiking and playing basketball. And it was really nice to see kids able to be kids again. And it was awesome. Kids were able to stay overnight. They were given that option if they wanted to. And one of the things I think I'm happiest about is they didn't have to choose. So if they had sports, and we were so concerned because they lost their sports season last year, and so they were able to go back and play their games or have their practices and come back and forth. We were also able to have a couple speakers come in person. We had Mrs. Curry who used to be the media center, work at the media center at the high school, came and told about her story. Her husband had MS, and we had Todd, who's formerly of the Akron Blind Center, come in and kind of share his story. So we had awesome days. It was great weather. We also, I did forget to give a call out. We also worked with DLM Food Pantry in Akron, who we've also been working with most of this school year, and they've been absolutely awesome. And the Akron Cooperative Farm, this is through First Serve, and they work with the Bhutanese and the Nepalese communities. So it was just absolutely awesome week for us, 3 days for us. And I think the kids had a good time. And speaking of kids, I have two awesome kids today to introduce. I've got Olivia Havens, who we chose these kids today very intentionally. So Olivia was actually the first semester. She served the most hours, excuse me, at her site, which was Center of Hope in the fall of any of our students. So she actually won that kind of first semester award. And then she's currently serving in the high school with Mrs. Quinn, and I know she's in some other classrooms as well. I got the chance to see her with Mr. Noyokes in his photo class. And then our other volunteer, or our other student today is Callie Sweet, who's last semester she was in the high school with Mrs. Quinn, actually. And then this semester she's in the middle school with Mrs. Colleen. And Callie was chosen because not only did she have the most hours served at site this semester, she also had the most hours served at site for our school year. She's been going in every other day, twice a week, basically from when school opens and staying all day until school closes. She's truly getting that experience of what it's like to be a teacher. But even more than that, the help that she's providing has been truly amazing. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Olivia so she can introduce herself to you. Is Olivia still there? Did we lose Olivia?
I don't know if you can hear me at all. Olivia texted me that she got booted from the meeting. She's trying to get back in.
All right.
So maybe let's go to Callie.
All right, so we'll move it over to Callie. You're up, Callie.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Callie Sweet. I'm a senior at the high school, except only for a couple more days. I spent this past crazy year serving my community through service learning. While being in service learning, I've learned that service isn't about me, but it's about what you can do for other people. Due to COVID, I was placed in 2 Hudson schools, which is uncommon for the usual year. But being placed in these schools has allowed me to give back to the teachers who have done the most for me. I spent my first semester working with the special education kids in the high school. It was such an amazing experience. The students, the teachers, and the aides are just genuinely amazing people. They are so open and accepting and are just trying to make the most out of every situation possible. I didn't go very far for my second semester. I got placed in the middle school with the 6th graders. I have never been one to have a lot of patience, but working with these kids has helped me become more patient and allows me to teach as well as learn more about myself and the students. When I'm at the middle school, I spend my time working one-on-one with students, doing conferences, helping them with work when they don't understand, or just having a check-in from time to time. I'll never forget one of my experiences. One of my most memorable moments was after I did a one-on-one conference with one of the students. He gave me an elbow, which is the new high five, and said, "Thank you, you are amazing," in his little sweet 6th grade voice. It might sound like a small thing, but to him and me, it was something that would make our whole day. I plan to continue serving my community as I continue my academic career at the University of Louisiana Monroe, where I'll continue to play soccer and study kinesiology with the dream of becoming a physical therapist for a college or professional athletics team. I want to thank you for all of your time and thank you for everything that you guys do.
And it looks like, thank you very much, Callie. It looks like Olivia was able to get back in, so I'll turn it over to Olivia now.
Hi, sorry, I had some technical difficulties, but my name is Olivia Havens. I served at the Center of Hope, which is a food pantry in Ravenna, first semester, and at Hudson High School with Mrs. Quinn's class, second semester. I came into the program this year with service experience from the 6 years I served at Trinity Farms, which is a therapeutic riding center in Streetsboro, I had never really experienced serving the less fortunate to the point where they were food insecure. I served lunches, helped with pantry orders, and helped keep the pantry stocked at the Center of Hope. One memory that really stands out to me from my time at the food pantry was when we had a family come in to receive emergency food. And I remember thinking, like, isn't everyone who comes in here receiving emergency food? Like, it's a food pantry. And my site supervisor, LaJoyce, explained to me that these people had experienced a crisis and had absolutely no food in their home, and therefore they wouldn't have been able to survive long without our help. And they came in this like small Kia Soul, and we filled it to the brim with as much food as could fit in the car. Very literally, I think they might have had to take another trip back. Like, we filled them up, and they were crying and saying how amazing it was and how much they needed it. And while that was a big exciting day at the food pantry, those while that was a big exciting day at the food pantry, and those are definitely important, serving at the Center of Hope and just being in service learning as a whole has taught me that you don't always have to make these huge changes. Just being consistent and a positive person in the world who they know is there for them in a world where they might feel like they have no one can change people's lives. And I plan to continue my service after high school. I'm going to Ohio University for nursing, and I'm very excited about the future.
And I think those are just two great examples of the students that and the work they were able to do this year, and what has definitely been the most challenging year of my teaching career and probably of my life as well. And so I give all the credit to them. And of course, we want to thank Rotary for your support and what you were able to help us do, especially with those blankets we were able to make and then send out to the hospice patients as well as veterans. So thank you so much, and we look forward to continuing our relationship and what is hopefully a smoother year next year.
Well, how awesome is that? What a wonderful report. It's always so uplifting to hear what our students are up to, what their plans for the future are. It's a great job, just a great job. And we really value the participation that you have with us and that we have with you. And we're looking forward to more in-person contact because some things just didn't happen this year, you know. So thank you again for coming in and joining us this morning. This is really terrific. Today is a very special day. It's our club assembly, and we're going to start looking a little internally. As you remember, COVID has kind of upended a few things with our club. And I know that everyone is very interested in topic number one. When will we be meeting again in person? And the reality is we've now been cleared by the Rotary District to do so if we can meet the federal guidelines. So we're scurrying at this point to try and find a proper location. We have met with the staff at Laurel Lake, and at this point, Laurel Lake is allowing no outside groups to come in for several reasons. And one of them being that they're not quite staffed to deal with outside groups as well. So it's not only Rotary that no longer can meet at Laurel Lake, it's the Garden Club, it's the Daughters of the American Revolution. It is anyone from the outside community that was using that facility. So they need to fully finish the renovation. They need to prepare and have their facilities fully open for their own members before they contemplate how this might go without groups from the outside. But please understand, we are committed to returning to Laurel Lake if and when they will host us, when that happens. And as we look at how that might happen, we're actually looking at the fact that it might be a little different than what we had before. As we looked at the facilities yesterday, the center of our meeting space is no longer available for anyone for a meeting, because quite frankly, what it is a large, very, very luxurious and nice serving station. In many ways, it looks like a cruise ship buffet. And so we would be meeting off to the side or perhaps in what we knew as the auditorium. And that presents us with a potential opportunity, one that our board will need to discuss and look at, because it is not really apparent that we can breakfast while we meet. In other words, we're looking at possibly having it as two different things. A breakfast that would be available beforehand and could potentially be available as what I call a ticket item or an additional cost. And a meeting that would follow in which the food is already been consumed because it's in a space that wouldn't allow us to bring food. So as we look at this, that's a concept that's kind of attractive to us because it might allow us to essentially reduce our dues. And we think that that's important as we look forward in retaining and growing new members. So I'd like you to think in the back of your mind, how important is it to actually have a complete breakfast when we have a meeting? Because as we look at other locations, including potentially city places in town, perhaps Barlow Center, perhaps City Hall, as we look at other types of facilities in town, perhaps like Hudson Meadows, or perhaps one of the country clubs. All of those things are thoughts that we're bringing forward. And so COVID has kind of upended things, but it's given us an opportunity to somewhat reset. Along those lines as well, we are hoping that we will have our recognition banquet at the end of the year, again, as a recognition banquet, as a live event. We're working with one restaurant right now. We're getting a quote from a couple of other places to make sure that we have the best place, but it will be exciting. And I'm very, very pleased to announce that we will have a Jimmy Sutton Award winner. I want to thank Ed Sogan and Phil Tobin for the hard work that they did in coming together. I remember at one point when I had first mentioned the fact that I'd like to have this be more than just an occasional award. I'd like to say that, there was some concern that, are there enough people in Hudson that we could make this an annual award? Well, the reality is we brought 9 names to the table, 9, and they were all wonderfully qualified. And so I'm very pleased to announce that we have a winner and that we will be awarding that on that night. We also want to thank Joe Zapatowski for so generously helping us arrange a Paul Harris Award to be given that night. So there's going to be a few other things that happen then as well. I'd like to talk a little bit about how we expect that the club's going to actually come back and come live. The first thing that I'd like to do, and I need to acknowledge the Strategic Planning Committee. They've done their work. They have indeed done their work. And it was very ably led by Jay Yard. The other people on the committee were Mike Swain, Mimi Becker, John Adams, Allison Feaster, Patrick Shear, and myself. And we've come forward with an introspective look at the things that we do and kind of how we do them. And one of the things that we really know is that we are a busy club. We are a very good club. We are a very strong club. And our goal is to have that continuing into the future. But sometimes some of the things, the challenges we have faced have been in leadership development and in creation of new projects, sometimes in the sustainability of some projects. And so in that light, part of what we're proposing is something that we call form following function. And we've looked at how we have worked as a group and the things that we have worked on. And we are looking to create those into committees of more than a single person. And then when we ask a person to essentially assume a task or to assume a position of leadership, just like your president knows that when they come in, it's a 1-year term. We're asking that people who are assuming leaderships of some of our committees realize at the outset that it's a 2-year commitment, that you can re-up at the end of that 2 years if that's appropriate and you're interested in doing so, but that everyone within the committee or working with you knows that that's a 2-year term. There should be no surprise. Should be no surprise. And also, it should not be a burden to anyone. So we're hoping that we can move forward in this way. We are very fortunate that already many of our committees have a leader. And within membership development, we are looking at some recruiting of our new members, orientating our new members, creating memberships, mentorships, and sponsorships. And on that committee traditionally has been Mike Swain and Rich Warfield. We're hoping we can get a few other people there, but Mike Swain will be leading that group. We are well known in our community for our leadership. The political forum that we hold in advance of every election, those are well attended by our community. And very often we are the only other source outside of the League of Women Voters in which the candidates appear in a forum. We're very proud of that, and we'd like to see that continuing. The strength of our programming is really, really good. And the people who have committed their time to that this past year have been led by John Adams. This is the first year of his 2-year commitment. The other people who currently are working on that are Joe Avila, Evan McCauley, George Snyder, and myself and Jim Lang. We have a very strong marketing arm. The marketing and public relations publishes our articles. They also help to publish the e-newsletter that you receive every on either Sunday or Monday in advance of our meeting. Those are meant to be a recap of the last speaker, talking a bit about who the new speaker is going to be, and a couple of points of interest, either about individual Rotarians or work that we're doing, or information about our community. And that will continue under the new Patrick's New Year. And in that marketing and public relations area, Jay Yard has been our leader. And Nikki Kowalski is now working on that committee with him, as well as myself and others we are asking to consider becoming involved. Later, you're going to hear a little more about our plans for the gala, but the Gala Committee is our fundraiser. It is our, and we're looking to make it be a fundraiser, the overall fundraising, spring and fall. And we know that the people who work on that are committed to that. They've done this for a number of years and they're good at doing it. So currently, Chris Barker and I have led the Gala Committee. The 3 other committees that we have, as I mentioned, we're looking to have form, follow, function. And so we're looking at what are the things that we're really passionate about as Rotarians. Youth and leadership development and education. And under that, we look at everything affiliated with the Scouts, with the work that we do with the Hudson Service Learning class, with the WRA Interact class, with the youth exchange, and with the 4A speech contest and scholarships and any workshops that we might be doing, and RILA. These are all programs involving youth. Some of the most successful Rotary clubs are those that have programs and projects that are appropriate for every age group. Everything from the littles, the preschools, and very little elementary school kids. We've had a journal program going for a number of years in which a journal was given to 4th graders. And I saw the one that my grandson had. He had notes and stories and drawings and caricatures inside. It was very nice to see that it was something that was a Rotary involvement with his class. So as we look at this, we are looking for a chair. We are looking for people to participate in that. We know that a lot of people are involved with those things, and sometimes it feels like we have a committee of one, and that presents perhaps some issues. And so we're hoping to develop and build a support system where we have people of like interests who like working in programs that involve our youth, and be able to tap them to do more than simply a single project, or to be able to offer better sustainability of the projects that we're working. The next area is that of health and safety. For a long time, we've been involved with the EMS. We have purchased product for them. We have purchased life-saving things that they use. And we were involved with the EMS project last summer, in which we purchased the personal protective equipment in the early stages of the COVID onset. This also looks at the Gift of Life program, that international program. Remember, we're only one of 5 clubs within this district that continually has offered support of this program for about the last 5 to 7 years. And that's something to be quite proud of because of the good work that they are doing and the goodwill that they are building for our country and for our Akron Children's Hospital in all of those communities. It also involves things like the food bank and the service program in town. We have 2 representatives, Richard Nebbiolo and Bill Libby, who are working with that organization. They split it. There are 2 meetings and it's wonderful to see. Hudson Job Search falls under this category. Community recreation and environmental projects fall under this category. Again, we will be looking for someone to assume some leadership, but if those are things of interest to you, we will be contacting individual members of our club, asking which one of these areas you are most passionate about. And it might be more than one. And lastly, we look at the community events that we're so well known for in our community. Santa on the Green, Art on the Green, the parades and concerts that we work with. And we want those things to continue. We want them to be strong programs. And as we do some of these things, we're bringing perhaps a little more, I hate to say structure, but that's really what it is. As we go into working with our programs, we would like communication to be strong to the club, to the board, about how things are working. That doesn't mean that we haven't done a great job in the past. We really have. It's just as we're anticipating and moving forward, we're looking at ways that we can develop leadership and provide opportunities for people, new people, as well as seasoned people who now find that they are moving into retirement or moving into new situations in which they're seeking more of a Rotary involvement. Several times I've had people approach me privately as the president of this organization saying, I could do a little more. Okay, that's all I needed. That's all I needed to start a conversation and to find a fit, a good fit for the passions that you have and the needs of our club. At this point, I would like to take the opportunity to invite Mike Swain, Mark's my kid, Mike Swain, to please unmute and tell us a little more about his plans for the membership committee. How you doing there, Mike?
There we go.
There we go.
And what I'd like to do, Marilyn, is run through a few slides here to give a little membership update. So I'm going to do share screen and hope that pulls up my slides. And where are we? Do we have them?
You have them right there.
Okay, I'm going to go to full screen. Here we go. And here's what we want to do. We want to take a look at, we want to try to answer some questions about membership, like where are we now? Where do we want to be? How do we plan to get there? I'm going to talk a little bit about the plan that we developed a couple of years ago for our strategic plan for membership. And then we want to talk about what you can do, what the membership can do to help meet our plan. So with the help of Chris Barker, I put together some numbers, and they say that a picture speaks 1,000 words, and here's what our membership looks like going back several years. Can everybody see this okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
But going back to 2014, we were at 53 members. We had really good growth, adding a couple of new members a year on a net basis, because this factors in our attrition here. And then we leveled off at 60 members starting just before COVID. And that's kind of where we've been the last couple of years. And if we look inside those numbers, what we see is that we've actually added 12 members since the 18-19 club year, but we've lost 10. So our attrition in the past was usually pretty consistent at a loss of 2 members a year, but during the COVID years, it's gone up to a loss of 4. And so basically, even though we were adding 4 new members in each of the next 2 years, we lost 4, which has kept us at a membership of 60. Now, what's going on with these losses? Well, most of them are in the job transfer and the left the area realm. And some of this is because, aside from regular job transfer, people were able to move where they wanted to and work because they were working remotely. And so they decided to live somewhere else. The lost interest and unable to participate, really ours were more unable to participate. As we know, some of the stories, Marilyn, with some of the members that we've talked to that have had to drop out, including the recent one that you just wrote about. But these are people that wish they could have, but just weren't able to for various reasons or requirements on their time. And then health or passed away. In our case, there were 2 that passed away in the last couple of years. So those are the reasons for the loss. And so that kind of describes, just with numbers, where we are. We're at 60, and that's where we've been for the past couple of years. But where do we want to be? Well, first of all, we want to grow, and that is almost a requirement. You know, in my days in business, you kind of knew that if you didn't grow, somebody was going to gobble you up, or you were going to die. And there's a quote that I had in my office when I was in business, and it was that growing enterprises thrive, and status quo enterprises just disappear. So we don't want to maintain the status quo. We don't want to flat line at 60 and be happy about that. And the other thing about growth is that growth is a choice. We can't do anything about some of the reasons for the attrition, like job transfers or health issues or that type of thing, but we can certainly do something about growing, adding new members and growing our membership. The other case for growth is one of stewardship for our club. We wouldn't be doing justice, we wouldn't be doing good stewardship with our club if we didn't continue to work to bring in new skills and talent, which helps add future potential leaders to the club, and which helps increase our club revenues, and most importantly, helps increase our capacity to serve the community, which is what we are all about. So what happened a few years ago, back in 2019, under Rich Warfield's leadership, and by the way, Richard Nebbiolo and Evan McCauley are also on the membership team now. But back a few years ago, we decided to sit down and put together a membership growth plan or a membership growth strategy. And we worked on this. We followed a strategic planning process, the same one that the club has followed for developing the club's strategic plan. But We defined our goal or our destination of where we wanted to be membership-wise. We developed our value proposition, which is what we offer to the members and to prospective new members. And we developed a bunch of action plans and we communicated it to the board and we got the plan approved. And then good old Mike Tyson, but his comment about everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And that's what happened to us with COVID, is that it kind of set us back on our heels. We weren't sure how to proceed with our membership plan. And for a while, as we got used to operating with COVID, we really didn't do much of anything in terms of actively pursuing that plan. We did take on some of the action plans, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But one of the things that happened with our plan is that we did develop a destination. So when we talk about where do we want to be, we can kind of answer that, and I can answer how we plan to get there. And where we want to be, and don't faint when you see this, but the original destination developed several years ago called for a membership of 72 by July of 22. And that involved adding 12 members from the base of 60 back in 2019. We're going to keep that as our goal, which means that we've got to add about one new member a month going forward to achieve that goal. But I don't want to revise that. I want to leave that as our goal, and I think that it is achievable if we really work at it. How are we going to achieve that goal? Well, action plans involve, first of all, continuing our great publicity efforts, led by Jay Yard. Jay's done a wonderful job of getting us exposure in the hub. And what we're going to do and what we have done is highlight some of our upcoming speakers, some of our projects. Now that we have a mission statement developed during our strategic planning, Jay will be able to talk about that some more in our publicity and talk about what we are all about. As we know, there's there are some misconceptions out there or misunderstandings about Rotary membership. There have been comments and some people thought that you had to own your own business to be in Rotary and that type of thing. And Jay is going to work to dispel those misconceptions with some of his Hudson Hub articles by providing more membership information. One of our action plans from a few years ago was to develop a new member information folder, and we've done that. Those are available. We've been using them. There are more available. And whenever you ask someone to join the club or invite them as a guest, you should use the new member folders, which includes an application to join and includes the the membership process of what you have to go through to become a member. A third action plan was to increase our exposure. We do a lot of things in the community, and a lot of times people don't even know that they were done by Rotary. So we've talked about this in board meetings, but definite action plan is to work to increase our exposure. We're going to seek other local publicity sources, and we want to expand our use of the provided by Rotary Club of Hudson credits when we do things. Another point is improve retention. Now, we haven't had a retention problem in terms of people dropping out because of a real lack of interest or not a good fit. We have had the occasional one like that, but going forward, that's an area that we can't neglect. As in business, if you want to grow your business, you've got to first hold on to your existing customers. And in our case, we got to make sure that we're keeping our membership involved. And Marilyn the whole area that you just addressed is a part of doing that, is keeping people involved that want to do more and not having people fall by the wayside. So we're going to work harder at that, and we're going to be talking about that more in the membership committee about how we do that. Finally, the action plan here is to get everyone involved. All of our members should be involved in recruiting new members. Each of us has a responsibility to help the club grow and succeed in our mission to serve the community. And if we as members are here because we want to serve the community, one of the things we can do, one of the most important things we can do, is serve ourselves first by helping to grow the club. And so everyone should be involved in helping to grow our club membership, not just the membership committee. And some of the things you can do, the best one is, and I was able to do this a couple of times myself in bringing in new people, was to use our speakers as a lure, as an attraction to bring in guests to the meeting. I mean, if someone is involved in sports, invite them to a meeting with during our sports month, that type of thing. Also, this new member folder can be very useful if you have someone that is on the edge, not sure whether they want to join or not. But the new member folder has a lot of information which helps explain what we're all about, and it might be helpful. And one of the things we're going to start to do, Marilyn, is we're going to start to track and publish monthly our membership numbers, so that we'll keep those out in front of everybody so that everybody can see how we're doing. And finally, someone forwarded me, I think it was Jay Yard, forwarded me a copy of the Rotary District, our district newsletter, our e-newsletter, and highlighted for me an article that was in there a month or so ago. And I want to do the same with everyone here this morning and point out an article about the Rotary Club of Nordonia Hills. And it's a quote from the article, but please note, everybody, that during the Rotary year 2019 to 2020, the Rotary Club of Nordonia Hills added 15 new members in 1 year. They went from a membership of 25 to a membership of 40, and that was in the middle of the pandemic. And even during that time, they lost 3. 2 had to move out of the area, which we experienced a lot of during the pandemic, and 1 wasn't a good fit. Now, how did they do that? How did they attract so many members? If you read the article, you know the answer. But the answer is, per John Bosco of the Nordonia Club, quote, and I quote, "We asked every member to ask someone to join." And basically, we asked people to join Rotary, and they did. That's how they grew their membership. They asked people to join. Okay, so this is about the time that we get to the last question. What can you do to help? And if anybody doesn't see this coming, they haven't been paying attention. But what you can do to help is to go out and ask somebody to join Rotary. And that's it. Thank you very much for your time. Turn it back over to you, Marilyn.
All right, thank you very much. Let's see if we can stop your sharing. Can you, there we go. Let's bring you back.
See if I can get back to the meeting.
I think we got it. Here we go. Okay, and actually one of the best vehicles that we have for recruiting is our gala. We invite guests to our gala all the time. And when they come, there are a couple of things that they notice. They notice that there are Hudson leaders that are at this gala who are Rotarians. And they also have fun. It's always a fun night. There are a lot of people to talk to. There's a lot of excitement going on that night. And I'd like to give you at this point just an update as to where we are with the gala, because it's coming up September 10th. And it's going to be different from any gala that we've had before, because we are going to be dining underneath of a tent outdoors. As we were preparing for this event, we were thinking, what do we need to do to accommodate COVID restrictions? And we feel that people coming into this environment in this time will welcome an opportunity to dine outdoors. And we know that we're all clamoring to get back together again as well. So we'll be at Camp Manitowoc. We are partnering with the Scouts to do some sharing of resources like tents and tables. And when we get a rental, we'll be splitting some costs. We're changing the menu up a little bit because we're outdoors. We're going to have warm apple crisp and vanilla bean ice cream for dessert. We'll be having a bit of a change up with the menu. We'll be having a Gouda flavored mac and cheese and a protein that's going to be a little different. We're going to have a little barbecue chicken on the plate. So, honestly, it's going to be a lot of fun. There is adequate parking. We will be using the dining hall at Camp Manitowoc, which is quite large for our silent auction items. We are preparing our list now. We are fully aware that we're not fully out of a pandemic yet. And so the expectations and the letters that we write will have a slightly different tone. We know that some businesses are struggling. We know that some businesses will use this as a marketing approach and will donate generously. And some realize that last year we didn't have a gala, and we're expecting that they will support us yet again. We have already begun approaching our sponsors. We've already begun planning for some of the safety things that we have to do. We've had a donation of 300 2-ounce vials of hand sanitizer that we will have at every place setting there. How about that? We've also had a donation of face masks that if people feel uncomfortable, we can provide it for them. So believe it or not, even our sponsors are asking us to develop a safety plan for how we will be making this a safe environment for our people. And so things are starting. The Gala Committee met yesterday, and a couple of key decisions were made, and I'd like to share those with you. The first thing is everything's going up. Pricing is going up, food is going up. If you've tried to put anything together recently, a party, you'll notice that there are increased costs, and we have felt that as well. And in order to protect the income that we so desperately want and need from this, we're going to increase the ticket price to $100 per person. We will not break through and go higher than that, but $100 we felt was appropriate. We have engaged our auctioneer, the great guy that we had the last time, and we're starting to put together those live auction items. So look for something that's different, something unusual, something that will make you want to think that you really want to dig deep in your wallet to just have it. You want it. We're also making a slight change. In the past, we've formed teams with team captains who've sometimes been a little reluctantly engaged. We're going to not do that. The fact is, this is still kind of, we're working under a different format, a different time of year. We're all adults in the room. Every person will be given a list of businesses that they have contacted perhaps in the past, or some new people that we have added to contact for silent auction items. If you cannot, or you have a relationship that is strained with anyone that you are given, contact us. We'll take it back. We'll make sure that the contact is done elsewhere. We also know we're coming into vacation season. We're coming into times where people are really busy. Talk to us. Let us know. And, let's just be adults about all of this, and we can get it done. We really can. Our gala has been such a wonderful support. All of the money goes into our foundation and supports everything that our foundation does. We are one of the healthier clubs in the district because of our size and because of the fact that we do have a foundation. And, I'd like you to think just a little bit about how our club was really founded. In 1930, when this club was founded, they took on a huge project, the building of that cabin on the green. I can't imagine. As a new club with 12 or 15 members, they had the audacity to think that they could do that. Well, I don't think that Rotary spirit has gone very far. I think we still have it. I think we still have it. I think we can still do big things. We demonstrated that last summer in the support that we gave to the EMS project. I'm very, very proud of what we did. We also were prepared for this. Unlike many clubs, we had a rainy day fund. And we were very fortunate to be able to use that rainy day fund to continue to support the things in our community that we have traditionally done. We didn't cut off service learning. We did not stop the support that we've given to music of the Western Reserve or the bandstand or any of the things that we have so generously. We have a tradition to uphold, and that's wonderful. But we also have a future that we're looking forward to as well. So it's been a wonderful time to work with you. It's been wonderful to know that this organization has as many past presidents in it who are still engaged and still excited. So looking forward to a strong gala. We will be having our packets prepared and out within 2 weeks. I'm looking for open and honest communication with you to close out this year and to move into Patrick's new year as well. It's been great being your Rotary president, and I want to thank you all for the support that you've given us. So that essentially is where we stand at this point. Our foundation is strong. You know, our club is strong. We're not a club that needs fixing. We're simply a club that's looking forward and trying to uphold and continue the traditions that we've had for many, many years. So thank you for your attention, and wow, let's get this started, okay? Patrick's gonna have an awesome year. And I want to meet in person again. Yes, do we have any comments?
Marilyn, could you remind us the date for the gala again, so we can all put it on our calendar?
Friday, September 10th. Friday, September 10th.
Great.
At Camp Manitowoc. And that's an absolutely outstanding time to bring someone to experience what it's about.
Yeah, I agree.
I remember asking Richard Nebbiolo, why are you a Rotarian? And it was when he came to the meeting that we'll have next week, awarding the scholarship winners, because 4 years ago, it was his granddaughter. And he said, I walked into that room and I saw people that I knew, people that I admired, and people I wanted to work with. Okay, becoming a Rotarian was an easy decision for Richard Nebbiolo. And he jumped right in. This is pretty awesome. So thank you for attending. Any other comments or questions or things anybody would like to talk about?
Got one.
Mayor.
Yes, Ed.
I'd like to thank Terry Bortnick for organizing the work on the pollinator garden. It wasn't the easiest task. It should have been a couple of days, and it took weeks to get the weather to cooperate, but great job on that. If you haven't driven by, it's at Ellsworth on the wall outside the new addition. But the other thing is that Kurt Van Blarken is a person that we worked with, and he is always looking for volunteers to help him. He's like a one-man band working around all the schools with tree projects and gardens. So Terry, if you and I maybe can assist in keeping communication with him and then getting his requests out to the membership if he has a project that we'd like to do. The other thing is Andy mentioned the race at the park. Andy, I believe, was the only Rotarian to run, and Andy's been a runner for a long time. The timing system is really neat. They had over 400 people run, and as you start, they start in small groups, and they're able to keep track with electronic timing of everybody that goes through. So there were groups of 50, all the way down to 3 or 4 at the end, and they're all timed equally, even though they start at different times because of the small path, etc. So it was really exciting. The only thing that happened with Andy is they didn't use that timing system. They used a calendar.
That's not fair, Ed.
I love it. And that is from our fine master.
I'll gladly pay $1 for
I
the
have so missed that.
Yeah,
Marilyn,
we need to get
That.
Go ahead.
back to live.
Yeah,
we
I'd
do.
like to reiterate what Ed was talking about. Kurt was just fantastic to work with. He really led this, and Patrick knows too, because he was there at every session too. That without him, there would have been no pollinator garden, because he was really wonderful. So yes, I agree, Ed, that if there's something we can do, if any of you are really interested in the gardening aspect and everything, Kurt is just an encyclopedia of information, and would always appreciate any help that any of us could give him.
Well, folks, unfortunately, we have only about an hour of time that we videotape it. So we're going to cut just a little bit to make sure that we meet the timing requirements that HCTV has got. We're going to conclude the meeting now, stop the recording, and we can still keep talking, okay? Because Zoom is going to go right on. But, you know, there's enthusiasm with our club. There always has been. People
Hey,
like each other.
Marilyn,
Yeah.
if I can, I've got one quick thing.